Welcome to Shanmugam IAS Academy, and today we are going to see the editorial analysis of 18th November 2021. And what is the news? What is the editorial? The topic, the heading of the editorial, as you might have read in the newspapers yesterday and today and all, that is MP Lads, its suspension and why it must go. It is as it is in the newspaper. This is the heading you might have read in the newspaper. And what is MP Lads? That is Member of Parliament Local Area Development. And you all might be thinking this is an old scheme in 1990s where it was launched. So why we are studying it now? Because we have a relevance here, because it is in the news yesterday. We all know that the government has suspended the MP Lads, that is Member of Parliament Local Area Development Scheme. So that these funds would be available for its COVID-19 management efforts. When they have suspended it in April 2020. They said that we are suspending this scheme. This is MP LAD scheme, the Member of Parliament Local Area Development Scheme, for 2 years, because we will utilize these funds for the COVID-19 management efforts. When they said in April 2020, but 4 days back, what happened? Again, the cabinet has decided that they are reviving this, and now MP LAD scheme, which was suspended in 2020 for 2 years, from last week they told that it is active right now. So we are moving forward with the MP LADs right now. And we need to know what is MP Lads and why, what is happening under that. So that time in April 2020, that time what they said, they were suspending the MP Lads for 2 years. So all the opposition parties have been unanimous in their criticism. In opposition, the government's recent move, that is the suspension of the Member of Parliament Local Area Development Scheme for 2 years, which was approved that time by the cabinet. So the political unanimity is not very common, but that does not happen whenever self-interest is involved. So you need to understand this thing. The decision is inappropriate. This unilateral decision, I am talking about this unilateral decision, that is suspension of MP Lads for 2 years. They said this is a unilateral decision which is an inappropriate for the country, the democratic country like India. So first we need to know what is this scheme, and this is the background why it is in the news, because that they have suspended in 2020, now they have again started, but we need to know what is this. The MP LAD is a central government scheme. We all know that under this the MPs can recommend the development programs involving the spending rupees 5 crore each year in their respective constituencies. So under this scheme, MPs are given rupees 5 crore for the development programs in every year in their respective constituencies. So MPs from both the Lok Sabha, the Rajya Sabha, including the nominated ones, these can be in prelims lines, these can be very important. So the MPs from both the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, including nominated ones, can do so. So this is not only applicable to the Lok Sabha MPs, these are all applicable to the Rajya Sabha and including the nominated ones. In this you need to know one thing: the Lok Sabha members who are elected from the constituency, they can spend this amount to their constituencies, to that state. But the nominated members, from the name itself you have nominated, so they don't have they are not the elected people, they are nominated by the president. So what they having, they can elect any constituency, they can select any constituency to disperse this amount which is given in the form of MP in the MP LAD scheme. So for example, I can say that time Sachin Tendulkar, he is nominated that time he has selected a district in Nellore. There one region he selected for this MP LAD scheme. In that he spent this amount there. So for nominated members it is different. For the elected members who are from the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, they has to spend this amount in their constituencies, in their states. Okay, clear with that? Does we have, like we have MP LAT scheme, does we have MLA LAT scheme? Yes, surely we have MLA LATs also. For example, if you take the Delhi, here the 5 crores was the amount, but there they are giving 10 crores in that state. In Kerala and Punjab and Assam, where we have this MLA LAT scheme. So no need to confuse. We don't have this MP LAT scheme in the central scheme. We have MLA LAT schemes also in certain states. So the amount of money which they are giving will differ from state to state. So how does this scheme work? We need to know. Now what happened in this recent yesterday's, the 2 days back news, what they said, they are decreasing this amount to 2 crores from the central MP LAT scheme from 5 crores. Understood? They have suspended for 2 years, but they have started it again. Then our one of the minister, they told that they are reducing this amount to 2 crores. Did you understood? Now how does the scheme work? The scheme is working in this way. The government transferred it directly to the respective local authorities. The amount is not given directly to the MPs, but this amount is directly transferred by the government directly to the respective local authorities, the local administrators. Okay, understand? And MP LAT scheme, the guidelines focus creation of durable community assets. They can spend these in community assets like roads, school, buildings, etc. And recommendation for non-durable assets can be made only under limited circumstances. And for example, we have said, the last month we have taken, the government allowed the use of MP LAT funds for the purchase of personal protection equipment, coronavirus testing kits, etc. The guidelines for use of MLA LAT funds differs across the states. Here they will differ. For example, you take Delhi, the recommended operations are such as fogging machines to contain the dengue mosquitoes. The dengue is much prevalent in the winter seasons there. So they are using this MLA LATs money in fogging machines and also installation of CCTV cameras over there. And the implementation differs, but they have to identify the areas where they need to spend the money. And the list of the developmental works which are executed by the district authorities, because this amount is directly transferred by the government to the local authorities. So these are executed by the district authorities as per the government financial, technical and administrative rules. But what is happening? The following reasons for MP LAT scheme should be abolished. So this is what they are arguing. So what is happening is the scheme, why they were saying this has to be abolished. This is not abolished. Again it is into the picture. Again it is active right now. Why they are saying it has to be abolished? Because they are saying it is not specifically written down anywhere in the constitution. And it permeates the entire constitution, that is the separation of powers. And the argument, the MPs only recommend the projects because they are only spending those money which are dispersed by the government, and these MPs only recommend the projects, but the final implementation rests with the district authorities. That is strange, and we hardly believe that any authorities in the district who have the courage or the gumption to defy the wishes of an MP. We all know that. So the decision, the recommendation of the project is given by the MP, that is Member of Parliament, and here we need to have the CAG's observations too, that is Comptroller, Auditor General of India. I will tell you the brief history of that, and this is a constitutional body, we all know that. And from article 148 to 151, the CAG comes here, and this is a constitutional body, and we know his tenure, 65 years is the age limit, and his tenure is 6 years, not 5 years, is 6 years. And why CAG is very important? Because yesterday, November 16, we have celebrated day before yesterday as first audit divas by the Prime Minister. So CAG can be a possible question in the form of prelims. So please study this thing, and this is related to MP LAT schemes too. So this will be very beneficial for you, and I will say some of the functions of CAGs also here. So in this report, and CAG, what he said in his report about this MP LAT scheme, the expenditure incurred by the executing agencies being less than the amount booked. So what they said in this CAG's report, the expenditure which incurred is less as they have shown the amount which they booked. So this is one of the thing which the CAG's report has told. And other thing, wide variations in quantities executed against the quantities, such as one of the best, a good example, delays in issuing of work orders, that is ranging from 5 to 387 days, like that it is happening, and extension of time granted to contractors. This is very poor process. The extension of time granted to contractors with following corrective procedure. And the examples of the misuse, this is the reports. Under the report, they were saying the underutilization and misutilization of MPLAT funds continues to surface, and there are innumerable instances of misuse of these funds. And here we have one of the great example, the construction of a fountain. We all know that fountain, that water which will be flowing, we have seen in so many places. It was constructed in unauthorized settlement in Delhi, that is called as the Juggi Jhopdi colony. So what is interesting here, they have constructed a fountain under MPLAT scheme in Juggi Jhopdi in Delhi, and the main thing is they have constructed the fountain, but that region, that colony does not have the provision of drinking water. So that is why some of the critics are saying this is the misuse of these funds. So when there is an advantage, we have the opposition for that too. So this is what the critics were saying. And the general belief in the settlement was that contractor who backed this contractor will build the fountain was related to the local member parliament. So while writing our answers, we no need to go in this way. The disadvantages is fine, but we have to go it is in a positive way. Here, the gaps in utilization of MPLAT funds, how the gaps can be utilized. The report published by the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, they said that, I have sold the CAG report. Now the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, they said that among 500 MPs, only 35 MPs of the Lok Sabha, they have utilized the entire amount of MPLATs during this period. And though so much of like more than 1700 crores has been released for MPLATs, in that only 250 crores has been spent. And this means the MPs are put together. When we constituted the Lok Sabha in 2014, that time the MPLATs, which is began in 1993, we all know that. It is clear the details as well as the later experience, the most MPs use money under MPLATs as quite haphazardly. And finally we came back to the legality, the constitutional issue right now. Here, what is the constitutional issue which was mentioned earlier? The constitutional validity of the MPLATs was challenged in the Supreme Court. So this was challenged in the Supreme Court, and it was followed by the petitions in consequent years such as the 2000, 2003 and 4. What happened? The implementation of a lot of schemes bears no relationship to how the schemes were intended to be implemented. So the common experience here does not support this because of large earning of gaps being found in actual implementation. And one of the Supreme Court, this thing we need to know, in 1992 they told, Supreme Court has told to the center that you can form this thing, but after 1 year in the review petition they have concluded it is up to your discretion. So the CAG's report, he was clear because the expenditure was incurred by the executing agencies being less than the amount which they have booked. And in this national statistics program, the Ministry of Statistics and Program, in this they have said that among 500 MPs, only 35 MPs of the Lok Sabha has utilized the entire amount of MPLATs. So these are all one of the disadvantages. So that's why they are saying this, that MPLAT scheme to be abolished. But why it is in the news? Because it was suspended in 2020 April for 2 years, but now recently it has started back, but with the reduction in amount from 5 crores to 2 crores. So this is what, and this is what the critics are saying, and this is in the news as in the editorial form, you might be knowing. And here the history, what is MPLATs and why, what are the things under the scheme and what the reports are saying, everything is in this editorial. And please, if you have any queries, just tell us in the comment section. We'll try to rectify that. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you.